Alright, Redeemer. 150. And... Whoa! Okay. No! Oh God, no! Hold up, any more of you? Come here. Shit! That's a lot of damage. Oh my, I don't think I've ever one-shot a level 150 heavy gunner. Just like that, from a cold start. Hey, you want some? Trust me, you don't. Oh my God! Oh, that's dirty. Oh boy. This is a thing. Yes. Alright, hello everybody, welcome to another video, and this setup right here that you're looking at right now is what did most of the work there, and it was kind of inspired, or rather sparked, by this comment on my previous video. So thank you very much for that one. It has been quite an adventure, let's just say. So let's go over this setup, shall we? So the ore I'm using is corrosive projection, which is incredibly strong because once again the types of damage we do is mostly mitigated by armor, so this time around corrosive projection is the way to go. Then, since I really didn't want to break my sports setup, which I still use to farm Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, I had to go with an Exilus mod that has a D polarity, and I chose Agility Drift, which gives you sort of a smaller aviator effect, which doesn't really matter, but it also gives you 6% evasion, which is just a flat chance to avoid damage. But if I didn't have to do this, I would probably go with the Rush for the sprint speed. Then I'm running Blind Rage, which you can actually max out for this setup because we don't need a ton of efficiency, which is combined with Ogre Secrets and Umbrella Intensify for a truck ton of power strength. We have 255%, which is going to give us a ton of damage. Then I wanted to get some power duration, so I have Ogre Message and Constitution. Once again, Constitution really good for the knockdown recovery, especially since we're going to be melee a lot of the time, but if you can fit it in, put in Primed Continuity instead of Ogre Message, okay? And then comes the big boy mod, Venom Dose, which has been buffed significantly. So, what this allows you to do is hold down your Spore button, and instead of casting a Spore, you will do a quick pulse that grants you and any allies hit by the pulse, which reaches up to 15 meters, 100% of your weapon damage as extra corrosive damage for 40 seconds. The thing here though is that this has 1-to-1 scaling with power strength, so we're not just getting 100% of our damage as extra corrosive, which is already pretty good for a single mod, we're getting 255% of our damage as extra corrosive. And since we, have a ton of power strength, we're also getting 76% of our weapon damage as extra toxin via Toxic Lash. But we're also using a melee weapon, which means the bonus damage from Toxic Lash is doubled up to 152% of our weapon damage as extra toxin. And finally, since this is a melee setup, we need some defense so we don't die and we can actually heal with Healing Return, which is what we're going to be using to sustain ourselves. And I went with Adaptation and Umber Vitality for a ton of health, ton of damage reduction, and I'm then combining that with Arcane Grace for some extra healing and Arcane Guardian for flat armor. Now, you already saw what this setup can do with the Redeemer Prime. It is straight up the most damage I have ever seen in this game when considering the amount of setup there is, which is none. You apply 2 buffs and then you one-shot everything. But you can actually achieve similar results even with a feels-good weapon like my Life Hunt Scythe, which is a heavy blade Zord that was built to be fast and have high status, and I put on Healing Return and Primed Reach so that I have a lot of range and it feels good, and I have Healing Return for the healing. And it's all because of the way this setup works. You can use essentially any melee weapon as long as it procs some status every now and then, because what we're doing is we're taking the extraordinary amount of damage we're getting from Saryn and we're scaling it with Condition Overload. Though of course if your weapon is built specifically for Condition Overload, like my poor man's Orthos Prime, you will see some, seriously disgusting damage. I really don't know what else to say about this. It is just an absolutely ridiculous setup that does stupendous amounts of damage and is very tanky because we can afford to do that, right? We're already doing more damage than is necessary for the entire game, so we can take out some of the excessive damage and put in some defense so we actually survive the damage the enemies are pouring into us. So I really hope you will try this setup out and you will have as much fun with it as I did. I thank you very much for watching. I thank you very much for all the comments you left on the previous video and all my videos. Thank you very much for all your comments. I love reading them, and I will see you some other time. Bye bye.